Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com. Welcome to our 2026 ski test. Today we're talking about the K2 Reckoner KF. If you're unfamiliar with this ski, KF stands for Karl Faustfed. This is Karl's pro model ski, and it's a really cool ski. Definitely takes the existing performance of the Reckoner line and just adds in a touch more overall stability, vibration damping, stuff like that. Basically what they do here, just to get right into construction, is they build it just like a Reckoner. So it's got a wood core, it's got carbon boosts, so longitudinal carbon strips. And then it's got that carbon spectral braid where they're kind of cross-hatching carbon, tighter underfoot, looser in the tips and tails. And then this ski also has a carbon braided core. So where K2 usually uses triaxial braided fiberglass to kind of wrap around the core, this one actually has a carbon braided core. So there's kind of a lot going on inside the ski in terms of how and where they're using carbon. And it's pretty cool in the result. You know, I think when most people think of carbon powered skis, at least traditionally, we thought of skis that were pretty stiff. I feel like manufacturers are starting to learn how to use carbon, but get a little bit more vibration damping out of it and still allow for a nice, soft, supple flex pattern. Something that I think is quite interesting about this ski, it is a 184, so it's pretty big, but it's also pretty heavy. It's 2,160 grams on our scale here. We are 114 underfoot, so like I said, it's a big ski, but yeah, I feel like you could, I don't know, if you just flexed it or if you were just aware of the flex pattern, maybe you would think it's a little lighter, but it's actually got some heft to it, which I think is kind of important to its performance. It's still soft. I would say the Reckoner KF is noticeably stiffer by a small margin, but noticeably stiffer than the rest of the Reckoner line, but it's still overall very, very soft flexing. We actually posted a little like social media clip of skiing on a Reckoner KF, and a lot of people were commenting on like the movement of the shovel of the ski just in the video clips and calling it chatter. And you kind of have to like mentally differentiate between just tip flap and like true chatter. Chatter to me happens when you're on edge, you know, if the ski is like sideways on firm snow and it starts to feel jittery and chattery. These are always going to have some movement, and that's kind of by design. Looking at shape here, like I said, it's 114 underfoot. Good amount of camber underfoot, which is kind of impressive to see just how much rise there is underfoot. And then a ton of rocker in the tips and tails, maybe not a ton, but that's a considerable amount of rocker. And we're also pretty symmetrical in tip and tail rocker and just kind of overall profile of the ski here. And then good amount of early taper too. So these kind of, the widest point of the ski I would say is right about there, and then it tapers off after that. And the same is true in the tail. I'd say widest point is right around there. So really cool ski. Let's see if it wasn't printed on the ski, so I went and checked. This is a 23 meter turn radius. So I wanted to include that because the Reckoner KF has a pretty long radius, and that's, to me, pretty important to its performance. So obviously 114 underfoot here, we're talking about some soft snow use, and to me, really the best way to think about the Reckoner KF is that it's Karl Faustfed's pro model. Like, that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to do what Karl Faustfed likes to do on skis. And if you just familiarize yourself with how Karl Faustfed skis, you will very, very intuitively understand this ski. It is kind of the quintessential straight and sideways freeride ski or powder ski. If you want to ski really, really fast in kind of a direct line down the fall line, and then make a bunch of slashing turns, make a big like nose butter 360, hit a wind lip and do a cork 7 and then just mob out of it, Like, that is the sweet spot for this ski. You don't have to be doing crazy tricks like that to enjoy it. I do think just somebody looking for a really fun powder ski with some substance to it, or maybe you've skied a Reckoner 110 and you just want a little bit more stability than that, I think it could absolutely work well in that regard too. I got to spend a little bit more time on it this past season than I ever had before, and it's really, really fun. I'd say that like my skiing style kind of aligns pretty well with what we were just talking about. But you could 100% put like a fully directional skier on this ski and somebody who prefers more like precise feedback from the extremities of their ski, and they would just kind of feel completely lost. So it needs to be skied with sort of a modern, more new school style flair to your skiing. And it's great because there's a lot of people that like to ski like that. There's a lot of people that look up to Carl as a skier. And if you want the tool for the job, this is a really, really good choice. So yeah, really cool ski. Love the graphic too. You do spend a little bit more. The Reckoner KF is a little bit more expensive than the rest of the Reckoner line, just with the additional materials and the construction. But yeah, if you're looking for it, it's worth it. So that's it. That's the Reckoner KF from K2. Let us know if you have any questions about it, and we will see you out there on the slopes.